Well, I think it's time to get 2024 Container Garden planted. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Vicki and you're with Grammy in the kitchen. It is very early in the morning. It's actually 7:30. I went ahead and took one of our chicken breasts out of the freezer. We're going to just do a quick throw together crock pot meal. Nothing fancy, just throw it together and we're going to have dinner. Plus, we need to get some garlic in the ground. But before we do that, we need to separate these. Now this is the garlic we got from Azure Standard on our last order. And although 5 pounds is really not a lot for me to use in my kitchen, we are going to plant some of this. So I have 2 bowls right here. One's going to be, I'm going to put the larger cloves in for planting. And the other one I'm going to put the smaller bowls in. And then we're just going to puree those and make garlic pucks. So first, I need to get it all separated. So we want the big ones for planting. I'm not sure how many I can get in containers, but I'm hoping to get about 100. So this one's a big one and this one's a small one. The small one we're going to save to make pucks out of. So let me go ahead and do all the separation and then we're going to go ahead and get started on that crock pot meal. So I have them separated from big to small. The little ones we're just going to peel, puree, and make garlic pucks out of. And if I count it correctly, this is 100 cloves of garlic that we're going to get in the ground. I did weigh this because I want to know how much in pounds we are putting in the ground so that when we harvest next summer, we can know how many pounds are coming out of the ground. That way we can do a comparison. So this is an organic garlic that we got from Azure Standard. You can grow grocery store garlic, but if you're not buying organic, then you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know if it's diseased or what pesticides they put on it. So if you're not going to buy garlic seed, which are certified disease-free garlic cloves, by all means get organic garlic. And I suggest getting it from Azure Standard because it'll be a lot cheaper than buying one bulb at a time at the grocery store and planting it. I think this was $35 for 5 pounds. I've already used 3 bulbs in my cooking and I have this left over. Not sure how many bulbs I broke into to come up with my 100 large cloves. So I have 2 pounds and 11 ounces left over from that 5 pounds. Plus we have a little bit over 6 ounces in this bowl to make pucks from. So if I had to guess, this 100 count of large garlic cloves is roughly $9.44. Now if I can get 100 bulbs from these 100 cloves, I think my investment's going to be worth it. The sun just came up. Before we go outside, I want to go ahead and get started on that crock pot meal. So this is one of our frozen chicken breasts we got on sale. We're going to just season one side with salt and pepper. I have the stainless steel pot on the stove on medium heat with a little bit of avocado oil. We just want to heat that oil until it starts to shimmer. We're going to put the seasoned side down. Now we're not cooking the chicken completely done in the pan. We're just adding some color to the outside so that it stays together in the crock pot. So in the crock pot, I have a few Yukon Gold and red potatoes that I peeled and cut into smaller pieces. We're going to rest our chicken right on top. Now we need to cook the second set. We'll add about 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to go ahead and make a gravy sauce for the crock pot. We're going to scrape the bottom of the pan, make sure we get all of that flavor, because it might look burnt to you, but it's actually flavor. Equal parts of flour, so that's 2 tablespoons. And we're going to add some chicken broth powder. We're going to slowly add in some chicken stock. One quart. A teaspoon of garlic powder, about a half a teaspoon of onion powder, making sure we're scraping the bottom of the pan to get all that flavor. It already smells so good in here, family. taste it for seasoning. That's actually pretty good. Does need a little bit of a salt and pepper. You can taste that chicken broth powder, that homemade chicken stock. So we have our chicken resting on the potatoes. Let's go ahead and add our sauce. Lid on. I have it on high for 5 hours. Now we're going to go outside and get our buckets ready to plant the garlic while dinner is cooking. I did take a pint of green beans out of the pantry, so let's go ahead and head on outside. So I'm just dumping all of the dirt from the buckets in here, and I'm adding fertilizer. Mixing it up as best as we can. And then refilling the buckets. I had the husband go ahead and drill me some holes in these planters. We're going to use those also. We're going to maximize every container we have to get this garlic in the ground. Once we get all the containers filled out, I'll bring you right back when we're ready to start planting. Alright, so everything has been fertilized and refilled. I'm just going to go ahead and start putting some garlic down in here. So it does matter how you plant garlic. This is the end where it was connected all together, and this is the top. So you have to plant it in that ratio where the root end goes in the dirt, and you want it under the dirt by 1 inch. So I'm just going to put my finger in, and I'm put one in each corner of the square one. And then cover them up. And for the round one, I'm going to put 4 going around the outside, and then 1 in the middle. Making sure we're putting the root in first. And these are soft neck garlic, so they're not going to be a garlic scape on this garlic. Soft neck actually, so soft neck do not produce garlic scapes, but they have a long-term storage ability. So that's why we're using this, and plus this is what we get from Azure. Now this is the first year I have attempted to grow garlic, so we're either going to have a success or a failure, but either way it will be a learning curve. So I have one planter on the back side of the deck, plus I have a planter on the side. So the husband went and picked up dirt sometime this summer, and I told him to get the one in the blue bag. He said they didn't have the blue bag, but this says flower, vegetable, garden, plus fertilizer. So, but it's more of a mulch type. That's okay, he tried his best. So most of the dirt is the blue bag, which is container soil. Some of the buckets are this bag. So we're just going to do an experiment and see which one does better. I know those are the blue bag, and I think we have 15 cloves left over, so that means I got about 85 garlics in dirt. So I'm going to go ahead and start watering everything. Like I said, I've never planted garlic before, so I don't know if you're supposed to water it, but this will be the only time I water. So each one of these round 5-gallon buckets have 5 bulbs in it. The one square repurpose bucket that I got from the restaurant when I worked there has 4 in there. This small little planter has 3. There's 2 railing planters and they have 6. So if my calculation is right, we have 85 bulbs of garlic in the dirt. Next year, June, July, we'll see how big or luscious or a fail our garlic is. But while you're here, the carrots are doing wonderful. My jalapenos have not died back yet, and they're actually prettier than I got from the summer. They're longer. Now, I'm just going to let them go until they don't want to go anymore. Cilantro's doing good. I need to harvest that soon because that's going to go to frost really quick. My oregano looks absolutely gorgeous. So this is my planter stand that the husband made for me from a bench we had on our patio. So we have 2 high cinder blocks here, 3 high in the back with 6x6. I have one right here for the carrots and the jalapenos. I have plants, which the basil's done. I need to dig that out. My sage is doing okay. So hoping they go to seed. But I think this one is done. One of them still looks pretty good. So I'm hoping I can get some seeds from that. And this is the same setup with 2 cinder blocks in the front, 3 cinder blocks in the back, with a 6x6 going through. And that is garlic as well as the planters. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning and we've got 85 garlics planted. 2024 garden season has officially started, family. It is wonderful. Plus we have dinner cooking for us. But I'm going to go ahead and process all the little pieces of garlic because you know we saved the big ones for planting. The little ones are in here. Plus I have a few in here that's got some dirt. I need to rinse these off. And we're going to go ahead and make garlic pucks. I went through my bag to make sure we don't have any that are questionable. But I did find one. Plus I have a partial where we took, I think we took one clove out of here to make the 100. Plus I have a partial that I've been using while cooking. So I want to go ahead and get all of this processed so we can make garlic pucks to get them in the freezer. This needs to go back into the pantry. Let's go ahead and get this started. So I'm just going to smash them just to get the peeling off. Then we'll put them in the food processor, which is a tad bit of olive oil. Alright, so let me get all of these peeled, and then we'll start the processing. So I want to go ahead and fix me some breakfast. This is one of our packs of 3 French toast. I'm going to show you how I cook this. The husband has already had some this morning. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I just reused the parchment paper. I just have it on a pizza pan, baking sheet, doesn't really matter, on top of that parchment paper. And when the oven heats up, we'll put those in the oven. We'll cook it 10 minutes. Then we will flip them and cook them for an additional 5 minutes. And then we have breakfast. And we're just going to flip them. And 5 more minutes. Now we have French toast. Put a little bit of maple syrup. Tell me, family, if that doesn't look delicious. Ah, you can hear it crunch. Perfectly crispy. Mmm. Quick and easy breakfast. And we spent a day making the bread, making the French toast, putting them in bags, sticking them in the freezer. Ready to heat and eat breakfast. Family, you need to try this. Mmm. So good. I'm going to finish my breakfast, then we'll go ahead and get started on processing this garlic. Breakfast was delicious. Now back to the garlic. So I got my very small food processor. I'm going to put about, I don't know, maybe a cup to a cup and a half of garlic. I'm going to add some olive oil. Maybe a tablespoon or 2. And now we're going to process. Scrape it down just a bit. I have a clean bowl over here. And repeat. I've got the small baking sheet lined with parchment paper, 1/8 measuring cup. I like garlic. There's no such thing as, ooh, that's a lot of garlic. No such thing. I am patting it in there to make sure it stays in the shape. If you have a better way, please share. This is probably equivalent to four cloves of garlic. Now if you use more than that in your cooking, make your pucks a little bit bigger. If you use less, make your pucks a little smaller. And if you're not a big garlic fan, I do appreciate you watching the video anyway. Perfect. We got 15 garlic pucks. And now I'm going to go ahead, put this in the freezer until they're frozen solid. Then we'll put them in Ziploc bags for future use. So this has been a very, very productive day. We heated up some French toast for breakfast. The husband ate first. Then we got our Crockpot dinner going. I had it on high for 5 hours. It has 2 hours left. Want to check the temperature of the chicken and make sure it's registered at 160 degrees internal. Then we'll know it's done. If we need to thicken that sauce, that is no problem. We can make a cornstarch slurry. If you don't want cornstarch, you can use tapioca starch if you like. The chicken in the crock pot has been cooking for about 3.5 hours on high. I do want to check the temperature of the chicken. So I have my meat thermometer. We'll find the thickest piece. I think that's it. We're going to go in. Ooh, it's falling apart. I believe it is done. We're going to go into the side and check the temperature. And it's reading 185 degrees. That is done. I have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, with just a splash of water. I'm making a slurry. Just want to make sure we have that cornstarch dissolved very well in this water. I'm going to put it back on high so that will thicken up. We're going to put the lid back on. and leave it for about another 30 minutes. So I have home canned green beans, a tablespoon of butter. I have it on a medium to medium low. Putting the lid on that. Just have to heat that through. And then dinner will be ready. Our dinner in the crock pot and the beans. Just a quick, easy, simple, throw together, forget about it meal. But we got a lot accomplished today because we were able to get our garlic planted, plus process the little pieces of garlic for garlic pucks in the freezer. It's been a great day. The buckets for the salt has been sitting in the pantry since Sunday. Today is Wednesday. So it's been 3 days. I think they're dry. So I think we can go ahead and dump our salt in there. So we have 2 of these 2.5 gallon buckets. And I'm just inspecting to make sure they're completely dry. And the same with the gamma lid. They are good. I went ahead and brought out the 10-pound container of the salt we got straight from, we bought this through Redmond's Real Salt. Just in case 25 pounds does not fit in these 2 buckets. We're going to see how talented we are by opening this and trying to pour it into these buckets. So I just cut off a little corner, but I was trying to hold the handle still intact. But I might not even need it. Alright, so 25 pounds filled 1 2.5 gallon bucket to right there. And then the second 2.5 gallon bucket is filled to right there. So that's about a third. This is a coarse ground. And I want you to see the colors. It's for everyday use, ancient sea salt, kosher coarse. So that's the bag. We bought this from Azure Standard back in the spring. It's a pink salt. It's not Himalayan, it's pink. And it's absolutely gorgeous. If you're using white table salt in that blue cylinder shaped container that you get from the grocery store, stop. That is nothing but sodium. Sodium is bad for your health. Salt is not. This is a real salt. Has all the minerals. Everything is still intact in this salt. If you want to compare prices from the grocery store to Azure Standard, buying a real salt, please do that. They have Celtic sea salt, they have kosher salt, and they have this Redmond's Real Salt, and they probably have more. I don't know. I've only used the Celtic sea salt, and I've used this salt, and this is my favorite salt. So we're going to put the gamma lid on. So I know both of these together was 25 pounds. And I have a little bit left in my original container. When I bought this from the Redmond's Real Salt website, and I wrote on here the date I opened this. 10 months old. But I have shared this with the kids, so it's not just me eating 10 pounds of salt in 10 months. I have shared this. And we know that these 2 buckets equal 25 pounds, And when I get into these, I will also date it so I can tell how long 25 pounds lasts me. That way I know as I'm using it, I will know how much 25 pounds will last and if I need to buy more than just 25 pounds or 10 pounds or even 5 pounds in a year. So I'm going to take these back to the pantry. Dinner is ready. And it looks beautiful. So we're going to get a couple potatoes. Piece of chicken. Oh, it's falling apart, family. It's beautiful. Oh, it smells delicious. Some green beans on the side. Isn't that gorgeous? Now this dinner was just simple ingredients we already had in the house. We had a few potatoes. We had the chicken that we bought on sale. Put them in freezer bags. Stuck those in the freezer. We've got the chicken broth powder that we get from Azure Standard. We have flour and our butter, and we also had the chicken stock that we made homemade together. Green beans we got from Tammy. We canned those up. Family, it was just a simple dinner put together. Let's taste the green beans. Canned green beans are not my favorite. But when I'm trying to get dinner together in a jiffy, well, besides the time it took to cook the Crockpot meal, but the side dish, when I need to cook a side dish really quick, opening up a can, whether it's homemade or store-bought, it doesn't matter, of vegetables and just heat it up on the stove just to get a balanced meal, it's okay. It's fine. I do prefer frozen or fresh green beans, but canned green beans is okay. This chicken is shredding up beautiful. Let's get some of that gravy. The potatoes are soft. Oh yeah. Perfect amount of seasoning and spices. It is delicious. All we had to do was brown the chicken breast on the stove top, make our sauce in that same pan, remove some of that bits and pieces off of that pan to make sure we had additional flavor. Now when you think of those burned bits at the bottom of the pan when you're frying something, they're not burnt bits. That is just, it's called fawn. And when you deglaze your pan and you pull those bits back into your sauce, it gives it that umami, I think I'm saying that right, flavor, without artificial flavoring. Or in some cases, they call it natural flavoring. This is real flavoring. When you incorporate those burnt bits or the fawn in the bottom of your pan in your sauce, that's flavor. I'm just going to sit here and eat dinner. Technically it's lunch. But I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me in the kitchen and outside. We got 85 garlic cloves in the containers for next year, 2024 garden season. We were able to throw a quick dinner in the crock pot, heat up a can of green beans, and we had the perfect day. So thank you for hanging out with me. Oh yeah, and then we got 15 garlic pucks in the freezer. Yes, yes, yes. Future self is going to say thank you. Thank you very much. But thank you for hanging out with me today. If you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. I want to say thank you to the husband for drilling the holes in the bottom of that one 5-gallon bucket that didn't have holes in it yet, plus the railing planters. Thank you, husband. I do appreciate each and everything you do for us. If you want some insight on how I cook real food from real ingredients, that it's healthy, nutrient for our bodies, it's going to be a video right there. There's going to be 2 of them. Check those out. Might inspire you, give you some insight on how I do things, or give you a chuckle. Whichever is fine. So until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family. I love Easy Meals.